Okay, so it's a rainy Saturday. If you look through the truck and the garage window, another disgusting, miserable, rainy day. Typical weekend in Kentucky, in the wintertime especially. But only thing I accomplished throughout the week since I ended my last video was I got my valve covers cleaned up. And it took a couple nights of scrubbing. They were in bad shape. There's room for improvement, but they're a lot better than they were. I mean, these things were just dark and oil stained, and I gave them one coat of aluminum polish, one scrubbing. Probably go over them a couple more times to look better. But in order, the polish alone didn't get them back to looking like aluminum. To get that baked on oil stain off, I used just some Scotch-Brite and some lacquer thinner and scrubbed them, which made them look, which got the oil off, but it made them look dull. And then the polishing with some, I think I found this at AutoZone. You can pick it up anywhere. No, actually I bought that at a swap meet with a polishing kit. But I was hoping to someday, if I ever get time, don't know if I ever will, to take these back off of this and do a good professional type polishing to where they look almost like chrome. That one, they look really nice like that. But that's not going to be done before this engine gets running. Now on the valve covers and clearing the roller rockers, someone asked, do they clear the roller rockers? Well, this engine has been in this car since 1996, and I put roller rockers on it with these. The cam was slightly smaller than this one, but we're only talking like 30 thousandths difference in the lift. Most of the difference is in the duration and overlap, and the fact that this is a hydraulic roller instead of flat tap it. So yes, they will clear. And I have some thicker gaskets. I told you, I think I mentioned in the last video that I was concerned with these tabs hitting these heads, which are thicker from here to here. Well, and I was thinking about double gaskets, and I knew I had these. I wasn't too sure if I wanted to run a cork and a rubber as a double gasket. But I realized that if you look at your standard thickness gasket and these Felpro corks, they are literally a double gasket with what looks like a metal spacer in them. So, and those raise that valve cover up plenty high to where this tab will not hit the heads. You'd have to really crank them bolts down too tight to do that. As you can see, the tab is that far away. So these gaskets are the ones to use if you want to run these type valve covers with the roller rockers, provided your cam isn't too crazy big. And this one, it's a healthy street cam, but it's not a giant cam. And the gaskets are these. I've had these in my basement for I don't know how long. They're Felpro Performance 1643s, fit 429 and 464s. So we're going to get these valve covers bolted on today, but before I do that, I'm going to put my oil filter on it, fill it up with oil, prime the pump, and I want to do that before I bolt the valve covers down, because when I prime my pump, I want to make sure oil is coming out of all the rockers. So we're going to burn a drill or a hand drill up doing that, and hopefully everything will work out. In the last video, I said I couldn't find any Motorcraft oil filters locally, FL1As. Well, that problem's solved for quite a while. I got 6 of them. Finally came in yesterday or the day before. So they're a little higher than what you would pay at, say, Walmart. And as far as the Walmart thing goes, one guy mentioned you can get them at Walmart. You used to be able to here, but the last few times I've been in Walmart, and I was just in there last week, they don't have any Motorcraft oil filters at all in my area in Walmart. I don't know why. Now, as far as the auto parts stores, one thing I didn't say in my rant, they had Motorcraft oil filters, just not the FL1As. They had them for this truck. They had them for my 2016 F-150. They had pretty much all the common ones except for this one. So I don't know if that's got something to do with the same problem that's causing all other shelves of all other items to be almost empty, but Or are they trying to cut down on inventory? Maybe because majority of engines on the road are not pushrod engines anymore. They're overhead cam and stuff like that. So who knows? Maybe they're not going to make them available. So I ordered these. But in Walmart, I did find a Fram PH8A, which also fits all these older Ford engines. And I snagged it up too. So that's not going to be a problem no more. Okay, when I prime my pump, I got my oil pump drive here. I'm going to stick in there, and I got this old distributor shaft, which matches the hex on my oil pump drive, and I kind of tape this oil pump drive to that shaft so that it don't fall down in the oil pan when I do this. For some reason, there we go. Act like it didn't want to go down in there. And I can feel it's locked into the pump. And I think you got to turn the drill in reverse if I remember right. It's been a while. Let's see. I'll know right away because that drill will slow down if that oil pump starts picking up oil. It'll turn a little free until it actually gets some suction going. And my old drill's got a worn out chuck. I need to get a new drill. There we go. See if it'll stay on there. Thanks. Yeah, we gotta go in reverse. And I'm starting to see oil come out of one rocker arm. I like to wait till all of them are pumped up. And it looks like we got oil on all the rocker arms. And that tells me everything is hopefully oiling good. So so now we won't have to worry about no waiting for the oil pressure to come up on that first anxious moments of the startup. And when you do this, always remember to plug all of your oil galleys. This is a hole for the rear sending unit. If you run one, I don't. I usually run my oil gauge up front here, and also always remember to have this in the back, and that also tells me that this sealed up good. And now the next thing I'm going to do is put some valve covers on it, get a distributor in it, roll it over on its side, get some freeze plugs in it, core plugs. Some people call them freeze plugs, some people call them core plugs. I think the correct term or function is core plug. So let's get it. Now, a few hours later, after some digging around, looking for all my right bolts and spacers and test fitting and trying to remember how it all went, looks like everything's going to match up. Alternator, there was no worry on the heads because it bolts to the block in here. And this is a homemade bracket that I've had on it all along. And it looks like the location for this bolt hole is the same as the original heads. So no big deal there. This is a homemade bracket with no adjustment. Belt always stays tight. If I ever need an adjustment, I'll make something for an adjustment. And I did clean it up a little bit. I haven't done any. I'm going to tear it back down and sandblast this, clear coat it. Going to have to, I don't know if I got to press the pulley off to get that off. I think I do. Maybe I'll get lucky. And I'll be sandblasting and repainting all the brackets and the bolts. This piece. And one cleanup thing I did do, and I had nuts for spacers. I made a spacer. It's the correct thickness. Looks better. Makes things easier than for when you take it apart too, because you just got one spacer instead of nuts and washers. And then if you lose track of how many washers you had behind it, you have to kind of stop and reset and make sure you got it right. But looks like everything's coming together on it. So I'll be spending tonight out here. I'll take this back apart and sandblast it and clean it up. Show you what it looks like when I'm done. Alright, it's next day, Sunday. Everything's cleaned up and everything fit just right. Like I said earlier, the alternator was no issue because nothing got changed, because that bolt goes to the block, that goes to the water pump. I was concerned as to whether my bolt holes were the same for these aluminum heads versus the original cast heads, and they put all the holes in their original place, so that all worked out good. Like I said earlier, cleaned it up with the less spacers, just one spacer now. Everything lined up pretty good with my homemade bracket and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and stick a distributor in this thing, and I'm going to put this one in right here. The original one was an old vacuum advanced one. It's the one that came with my old crate engine that used to be in a black car. Just a stock Ford electronic distributor is all that is. This is a nicer MSD. If you remember, I tried this in the race car. I wanted to try weights versus advanced locked out, and decided for drag racing only advanced locked out was better for the black car. But now I got this nice distributor that will go in there, and it's got the bronze gear, which will go with my hydraulic roller. So I'm going to get that in here, and I've got my top dead center marked with that blue mark right there. This dampener does show 0 and then 10 degrees advanced and 20 and 30, and it only goes 10 after top dead center. So I'm going to roll it back around. So I'm going to have to go all the way around twice. Let's see, it will be on the intake stroke or the exhaust stroke the next time it comes around. And what I want to do is keep bringing it around till I feel compression coming out of this #1 spark plug hole. Because when we put a distributor in, we're going to line a rotor up with the #1 plug wire, wherever it will be, and advance it. But we want that to be on compression stroke, not the other one. Okay, now I'm feeling air come out. You can probably hear it. My blue mark's coming around. And I should be able to still feel that piston coming up. Yep. And we're lined up. We're on top dead center. Now, if I remember right, my #1 plug wire was over on this side somewhere, and it just came over like that, and it went 1, 5, 4, 2, 6, 3, 7, 8. So Since I don't have to worry about my advance anymore, the vacuum advance it is, I could probably position it anywhere I wanted. May have to spin that oil pump drive around a little bit. There we go. That went in there. Number one will be about here. That's not bad. And plus, we want to advance it. See, all the way around is 180. Straight across would be 90. I want to advance it about, I don't know, 10, 15 degrees. So we're going to advance it just a little bit. Hopefully that'll be close enough to start. I usually get it pretty close. That's pretty much all there is to it. Snug that down. Half-inch wrench. I got a distributor wrench somewhere, but I don't feel like hunting it down. Put my cap on it. And this is a centrifugal advance, which I really like. Don't have to worry about the vacuum advance failing and not working. Some people seem to like it, vacuum advance better. I myself always had better luck and less trouble with a centrifugal advance. If I remember right, this has got the lightest springs in it, so we'll just use them as a starting point and go from there, and that'll be after we get it running. And there we go, we are. The engine itself is pretty close to being ready to put in the car. And don't know if I'll make a video during Christmas week or not. Probably won't, but I do need to get my engine mounts worked out and make sure everything's going to be okay with my headers. Pretty sure it's all the same location. I do know the gasket is slightly different, so we're going to have to do something with that. But thanks for watching, and everybody have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This will probably be the last video of this year. Thanks for watching.